Hey there, how's it going? I'm Robert from Master Guitar Academy. Today I'm reviewing the Line 6 AMPLIFi FX100, which looks like this. It's a fairly small floorboard unit, but it can do a lot. You have access to over 200 amp models, FX and cabinet models. And as you may know, one of the cool features about AMPLIFi is you can control it via the remote. So you use either an iPad or in my case I use an iPhone. So you can quickly and easily adjust all the parameters. Just slide your finger like this to change them. And you can easily select amp models, cabinet models, microphones, effects, and quickly and easily adjust all the parameters of all those as well. So that's one of the key features. One of the other key features is that it has this tone matching ability. So you can play back and jam along to music in your iTunes library, and the AMPLIFi will automatically load tones it thinks is suitable for that track. It is accessing these tones from the fluffy white thing we call the cloud. That's where the tones are stored, apparently. I don't know exactly how that works, but it works anyway, and it's pretty cool. So the useful thing about that is you have a lot of tracks in your library and want to jam along to them, and this technology figures out pretty good what kind of tone will be suitable. And from there you can easily tweak with your remote app and store it and share it with others if you want to. So those are some of the main features of this thing, and I'm quite impressed. It sounds really good, and it's easy to tweak things quickly without a lot of hassle, which is always great, right? Now, next I'm going to show you with the AMPLIFi FX100 on the floor and my phone on top how I use it. Now, bear in mind it's going to be a little bit difficult to see exactly what I'm doing on the phone because the screen is so small, but I'm including a screenshot as well in the video. Basically, it's very simple. You just have sliders that you drag with your finger to get the desired setting, and you save it, and that's it. So let's take a closer look. So the first thing I want to mention about the Line 6 AMPLIFi FX100 are the output options. Right here I have a stereo outputs. So these outputs go into a PA or my home hi-fi stereo system. And this one over here, this is an amp out. So how this works is if you don't have this amp out engaged, your guitar tone as well as your backing tracks will come through these. So you would listen back and play a guitar, and you hear yourself through your PA or your sound system at home. Now if you have this one engaged, the amp out, that means your guitar tone will now go into your amp. I have mine plugged into a tube amp because I like that way of connecting it better. It sounds more real to me coming from an amp. If I do that, the backing tracks will be played back here, not through my guitar amp. So next, let's look at maybe the main feature of the AMPLIFi is that, of course, you control your tones from an iOS app. So I use my iPhone as my remote control. I don't have an iPad here at the moment, so it might be a little hard to see on the screen on the iPhone here, but I think you'll get an idea how it works anyway. So the cool thing about the iOS app remote control is that you can quickly and easily dial in sounds. It's a lot easier than to dial in tones on an HD 300 or 400 or 500 in comparison. Those are great units, but this is way faster and way easier. But before I go into the app itself, I just want to show you the tuner. Just press and hold this button and we go into tuning mode, and now you can see that both the FX100 and my iPhone app is reacting and indicating when I'm in tune with the green bar like that, and there's white lights on the FX100. That's a handy little feature. So let's get into the units itself and tones. So the first tone it comes loaded with is this one. These are different preset buttons. So you have 25 banks, and you have 4 presets per bank for these buttons, A, B, C, and D. So that adds up to 100. That's why it's called FX100. You can store 100 presets. So the first one that it comes loaded with this one. So now if we want to play around with that and edit it a bit, there's actually a couple of ways we can do it. Because as you see, we have these knobs here, so you can instantly change, for example, the drive with this knob. You can also see how the lights here change. This is really handy if you're playing at a gig and you need to just quickly, you know, dial back the bass or something. You don't have to go into the app, then just go in here and quickly change that. But if you want to edit it through the app, here we have the remote app. We just click on editor, and now we can see. I know it's hard to see maybe for you, but it is pretty simple design of this because we have sliders. So if I change the drive now, you'll see that that bar, red one up here, it moves as well. So now I can either do it from here, or I can drag with my finger the slider like that to adjust the amount of drive. And that's the same for all the parameters, you know, bass, mid, treble, presence, volume, and so on. And at the top here, we have a bunch of little icons, and that shows you gate, wah, stomp, amp/cab, comp, EQ, volume, mod, delay, and reverb. And I can also drag these around. If I wanted to have the delay, let's click on the delay, and let's see, we have a tap tempo. I can engage it here. The mix is pretty low, so now for the mix I can drag the slider, or I can do it from here. Same thing. If I want to be weird, I could click and hold and drag this delay and drop it in front of the amp, which I normally wouldn't do, but just to show you it can be done. It's going to be louder if I do that. So let's put it back where it was. So that way I can quickly adjust things like time, mix, or I can use the tap tempo. Works as well, of course. Slow. Now this is stereo delay, so let's change that. I click on the delay option here. The name, there's an icon to the left. I click there, and then I have a whole bunch of different delays I can use. I can use the reverse. Sweep echo is a cool one. For a clean one, you choose digital delay. Now I will lower the mix a bit, and so on. Click on reverb up here. I can adjust the reverb parameters. Now set to dark hall. And so on. So I can tweak my tones. And it comes with a lot of effects, of course. There's, I don't know how many, there's over 200 amps, effects, and speaker cabinets in this thing. So you can really play around and find your own tones in there. That's lots to choose from, that's for sure. But I find a good way is to start with one of the presets. Let's go back in, I mean, you get an idea of how these things work. You press on the thing you want to change, amp cab. Let's actually do that. It's set to Brit J800. I'll click on amp and I'll choose, well, let's see, how about a 1968 Plexi Lead 100. press done, and we can max out the drive. I'll take off the delay actually. Click on delay and disable that. So you know, it's easy to find an amp that you like in there. And when you're happy with your tone, you just press on Save Info and then click Save. Save to AMPLIFi FX100. Then it would overwrite the preset in the unit, or save to My Tones. Then I can bring them up later. And I actually have one. Let's go back to here and look at My Tones. I have one that I made this morning, Plexi Lead 45. Let's bring the one up. So if I now wanted to tweak this one further, of course, I'll go back to the editor and play around with all these things again. Or do it from here if I want to change the drive. And so on. So that's very convenient. Now we can bring up one of these other presets that came with the unit. I'll press C here and see what that one was like. Here's a cleaner one. So we can have a look at what this is. I click on the editor and we'll see it's a black phase vibro. I press on cab, I'll have a whole bunch of cab options. It's set to cab 212 match. Press on cab here and we can change to something else. Let's see what it sounds like with the 212 class A. 410 tweed. And so on. Easy to work with. And if I'm happy now with my changes, I'll just save it, either store it on the unit or to My Tones. So as you can see, it's easy to dial in tones with it. We also have a wah and a volume pedal here. So the one the preset B here, 1B, is a pretty cool lead tone that came with the unit. So we can use it as a volume pedal here. Or I press it and now I can use the wah on it. Pretty cool. So the other thing that's really sweet with this whole idea in this system is the tone matching. We can search for a tone either by an artist or a song or even a style of music. I typed in blues here, so now I see presets that other people have made. So here's my lead tone I was using. Let's press one of these presets I found called blues. Now it's loading from the cloud, as it's called. The cloud. then I can try a different one, Midnight Blues. A cleaner sounding one. Let's try a different one. And of course, then I can just tweak these as I like. So that's called a tone search. What I was talking about here a minute ago was the tone matching. So let's have a look at that. Tone matching is where you load a track from your music library, and the technology here will try and find a tone that matches the guitar used on that track, or in that style at least. So you could load something like see what I have, Joe Bonamassa. Let's just try it. I'll load Bridge to Better Days. Now it's gonna be, what happens here of course is that the song is starting to play back in my system, and it's showing tones that this technology is recommending to me. It's thinking that these would be good options to try for a tone, which is great. So you can quickly find a usable tone as you're playing along to backing tracks. It will recommend them for you, and then you can choose one, and you can also tweak it if you want, and so on. So let's choose the first one, Ballad of the John Henry Lead. That's what it came up with. And if I play back now, what's happening is the sound is routed into my stereo system at home, but my guitar tone is coming through my amp. Let's skip ahead a bit. And that, now that wasn't exactly his tone there. I can try a different one. So that's a pretty good tone, definitely usable. So that way you can quickly find tones that's matching what you're playing along to. Now I also want to show you, I have, let's see here, a music library. I have my own little backing track that I made, which this system will not know exactly what this is, because I'm not that famous when it comes to songwriting. But it's just a backing track. I'll click on it, it starts playing, and it will still suggest some tones for me. So let's see what happens. Just a backing track in A minor. I'll load this one, Lead the Way. That's pretty cool. Definitely worked. So that's an example of how easy it is to find some tones to start with as you're playing back to backing tracks. It's really handy. Now the other thing I want to mention here is that if you press this button, you'll see that these white lights they control my guitar tone volume. And the red button is overall volume, including the backing track. So then we can see, here's the backing track. increase my guitar volume. Or lower. So there you have it, an overview of the AMPLIFi FX100 and how I use it. Great for playing along to backing tracks. It's great to quickly dial in tones. And a couple of things that I have found is great with this technology is that of course you don't have to have your iPhone laying on top of it like I do. You don't have to bend down at all. You can have your iPad on a stand or on the table, and you sit there in your comfort and dial in the tones as you like, and you play back your tunes through your high quality PA or a hi-fi stereo system at home, and you can easily adjust the volume between the guitar tone and the backing track, and you'll have a lot of fun. And it works great for gigging as well, of course, because you can store 100 presets, and it's really easy to tweak something on the fly at band rehearsal if you want to via your iPad or iPhone. So I think it's awesome. Really fun stuff to work with. So check out the Line 6 AMPLIFi FX100. Thanks for now, and I'll see you in another video soon.